Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Unpopular Review, NXT Review Show. This is usually the Bad Guy Jack and Sabrina Estella show. Estella. All right,
yes.
So we're not going to be Latino. I'm going to revoke my card now.
It's the Latin-ish. It's just an easier way of saying it.
No problem. Well, I'm here in lieu of Bad Guy Jack because he is live at NXT and might possibly join us later if they ever get off the bus that takes him to NXT. Have you ever been to an NXT show, Sabrina?
Multiple times.
I hear that there's like a yellow bus that takes you
from
some random parking lot. Is this true? Please help me out, because I've never been. So I hear that there's a random parking lot outside a shopping mall that will pick you up, and like it's very discreet. Nobody knows. Only like inside wrestling fans. The same 50 wrestling fans know, and all the same 50 wrestling fans show up every week. And they get picked out. I think it's outside of a Kohl's. They get picked out in the parking lot outside of a Kohl's, and they get driven to some secret location outside the Performance Center. Is that accurate?
No.
Okay, then you could have had me fooled, because I could have sworn that was exactly where it is.
No. So the thing is, with the bus system, they use one of those like charter type buses that like the same ones that companies use to travel from one city to another kind of thing, kind of like a Greyhound type deal. But people get picked up from the Full Sail University parking lot where they used to hold the NXT shows back in the black and gold brand days, which they now did the Performance Center. And before you could drive over there and get dropped off and picked up, but now you have to get on the bus from Full Sail, get dropped off over there from there, go back on the bus that you were on, because they have like little papers and such or wristbands that help keep track of what bus you were on.
Okay.
Get on those, get back to Full Sail, get your car that you parked, and go home.
Now,
so you do a lot more work now.
It sounds like a lot of work, but I guess it's a free ticket, right? You don't have to pay to get in?
Free ticket. There was a Facebook group that had a link, and then people could just go on and sign up, put in their information, and then if you get picked, they send you emails, and then you just have to confirm that you're going, and then show up, show them your ID, they find your name. If you're on it, boom, you get your wristband, and you go.
I heard that also there's a test, like they ask you like who is the tribal chief, and like if you answer anything related to AEW, you get thrown off the bus.
If you answer that Solo Sikoa, then you're not getting on that bus.
Oh, okay. So there is people get thrown off the bus. So hopefully we're not going to have Ron or Chris or any of the other guys from Unpopular Review get thrown off of the bus tonight.
The only thing you get thrown off the bus for is defending the honor of JC Jane or defending why Ridge Holland is right in taking out JC one by one.
That's right. Now, I don't know much about NXT. I know a little bit, and we're going to go into it. We got a lot to discuss tonight. Axiom and Nathan Frazier, the champions, fighting Street Profits. I love it when WWE guys come down.
Unfortunately, due to some unknown circumstances, the Rascals, who had originally won the triple threat contendership match to be the ones to fight Axiom and Nathan Frazier for those titles, were taken out, and we found out how later, which I already knew was how it happened. Who was there at NXT? We have AC joining us via audio.
Hey, I'm trying to figure out what's this thing about getting thrown off a bus. What's that about?
I heard that you get thrown off a bus of the NXT bus if you talk about AEW on the bus. Is that true?
I don't know. I mean, the two AEW fans did catch an Uber, so that might be true.
Thank you. I knew it. Did you hear also, Sabrina, that he had to whisper AEW because he doesn't want to get thrown? He's live on the bus.
I did not whisper AEW. Don't do that.
He was whispering. He was like,
okay, I highly doubt this one would whisper AEW.
And he doesn't want to get thrown off the bus because he's probably going to be the next one that's going to get thrown off the bus. EC, you were live. Who were you with at this NXT show, this September 10th episode of NXT live from the Performance Center?
Well, we have Bad Guy Jack was here, Dan the Man, Vinny LaSpaza, and the technician, David Sanderson, actually made somewhat of an appearance.
I heard that David Sanderson was in the audience, and you know what? In fact, that's the person that Chelsea Green was referring to about BO, right? That was David?
That was last week.
Oh, that was last week? Oh, well, he must have stank up the joint from the previous time he showed up. And he
David
crushed
cannot
it.
hear you.
Hey
Oh.
guys,
Hey, how you doing? What did you guys think of the show tonight?
I had a blast. It was a fun time. I'm the NXT guy. I was just disappointed because I thought JC would be on the card, but she wasn't there. But I was there to represent her with my shirt, and now we're off to the applause.
Which shirt was that?
His JC Jane shirt.
Oh, you got a JC Jane shirt. Good.
No, you know what? Can we talk before I get off the show? Can we talk about how
What? Get off the
Solo
bus.
Sikoa is your real tribal chief? Can we talk about that?
No.
He's not.
He's definitely your real tribal chief. See, the old tribal chief, right? Because that's what OT stands for. Old tribal chief. Hold on. The old tribal chief, right? He never let the bloodline on NXT, right? Solo Sikoa is so loving. He decided to let the bloodline grace us with their presence. I'm impressed.
Or maybe they showed up because they have nothing better to do because now he's preparing to lose to Cody Rhodes in a steel cage match.
Wrestling Doll, every single Tuesday you're a hater, and I don't understand why. You know, this is why you stay on Tuesdays now, because you're such a hater. No one likes working with you. No one likes working with you.
I thought you hated Tamatanga, and yet you showed up. You bought a ticket to this NXT show, and then you paid to see Tamatanga.
No, I like Tamatanga. It's Camacho I'm not a fan of. You know what? Camacho did a good job tonight.
Mania.
Wow, you can't even keep it straight, man. So the first match was Axiom versus Nathan Frazier. They are the NXT champions versus the Street Profits.
You said Axiom versus Nathan Frazier.
Sorry, Axiom and Nathan Frazier. I'm sorry, Axiom. Yo, when did Scripps become Axiom? Anybody?
I got it down.
A long time ago. Thank God it did.
No. He must have gotten thrown off the bus. Y'all got to be. If you guys end up in Orlando for this NXT show, watch out because you better best behave yourself because they will throw your ass off this bus.
Yeah, no surprise there. But yes, we got Nathan Frazier and Axiom with the Street Profits taking the place of the Rascals because of unfortunate circumstances, which, again, we will talk about later in the night. But I enjoyed the match. Match was good. The Axiom and Nathan were holding their own against the Street Profits.
Yeah,
definitely showing the NXT and the WWE universe that they are not ones to be overlooked as far as a tag team because they have been a formidable tag team and been doing so for a long time. And it has been a minute since they held gold, and they were doing fine. And they could have possibly taken the belts from Nathan and Axiom after winning them back a couple weeks ago, if it had not been for the rest of the bloodline being bored out of their damn minds since Solo Sikoa is busy preparing to get his ass beat on Friday and go down there and attack everybody. The only good thing is that Tonga Loa actually didn't mess up this time. He had one job and he actually did it right this time. So applause to you for actually doing your job right.
Oh, wow. Lots of stuff.
He usually bodges and messes up everything. There's a 20-minute compilation video on YouTube of Tonga Loa messing up everything.
Oh, my God. Poor Tonga Loa gets a bad rap. But maybe that's why he's in NXT. He wants to get more training.
He should get some more training so that way he can learn how to deliver a low blow properly.
Ah, okay. Listen, I don't watch NXT regularly, so I'm here as a guest host because BadGuy Jack is in Orlando at this NXT show. School me on why the Street Profits jumped the Rascals to get this title shot.
They didn't jump the Rascals.
What?
They didn't.
I mean, it looks like that to me, Sabrina. I mean, they
didn't.
The Rascals had the title shot, and then something happened, and then so by chance the Street Profits took over. I'm pretty sure Montez.
Listen, the Bobby Lashley's not there anymore to try to turn them heel. They did not go over there and attack the Rascals for the sake of having their match.
I mean, why not? I mean, makes
No,
sense.
because somebody else did it, and I knew somebody else did it. The second that Ava put up on Instagram that due to unfortunate circumstances, the Rascals would not be on the show tonight. And we were going to talk about it later, but I'll just bring it up now. It was damn Wesley. Wesley went in and attacked them both. Here's the thing. Since you don't watch NXT regularly, I will explain it briefly. So a few months ago, Wesley was in the ring all sad and dejected that nothing was going his way for a while. And he was about to retire and leave NXT altogether. The Rascals come out, Zachary Wentz and Trey Miguel come out to encourage him not to retire, and they get the band back together for a little bit. They have matches, they win, they go up against Nathan and Axiom for the belts because they were champions at the time before they lost them and then re-won them again. And then when the match was over, and they were shaking hands out of respect briefly, and then once Axiom and Nathan left, Wesley turned on his brothers, kicked Trey Miguel in the face, Shawn Michaels style. And when Zachary had to get his face, be like, "What are you doing? That's your brother," and then hit him too. And then he turned heel. And for the first time in years since joining NXT, he's liked by Mr. Christopher Harris up until he lost to Zachary Wentz at the last NXT pay-per-view.
I heard that Wesley left because he didn't like the way they spelled rascals with a Z. He likes spelling things the right way. Is that accurate?
No.
What about these? Who's this? Pete Wentz?
No, Zachary Wentz.
Isn't he the lead singer of Fall Out Boy? What's he doing wrestling in NXT?
He looks nothing like that guy, and you know damn well. If Pete Wentz isn't the lead singer of Fall Out Boy, he is he is a guitar player or bass player, which is ironic because he's the most popular one there.
Could have fooled me because it seems like they
have
the same name.
I will say that right now.
No. Could have fooled me. Could have fooled me. And then one of them looks like a spaghetti. He looks like he's like 100 pounds soaking wet. Which one is that one? I thought I was watching AEW.
Are you referring to Trey Miguel?
I don't know which one. You school me.
Let's see. Zachary Wentz has
not
about this much hair on the side, and that's about it. And then Trey Miguel has a very low buzz cut.
I thought I was watching AEW. There's a backstage guy that looks like Tony Khan. What's his story?
I don't know.
You know the guy. What's his name? Richard Stone?
Oh, he's a manager, but now he's working with Ava since he has nobody to manage over there.
Look, Chris LeClaire wants to say Pete Wentz is with Gigi Dolan. So good for you, Pete Wentz. I'm glad he moved. He's the lead singer of Fall Out Boy. So
no, he's not.
No? You sure? No. All right. Anyways, moving on. Axiom and Nathan Frazier win because they helped out the Street Profits. You think this is going to lead to some main roster beef between not Axiom. He ain't going anywhere near the main roster. You know what I'm saying? Street Profits and the Bloodline. You think they're going to fight for these?
They already had beef. That's why they went down there and attacked them in the first place. Because again, they had nothing better to do. Solo Sikoa is busy training to get his ass beat on Friday. So they're like, we have nothing better to do, and Solo sitting us down here. Let's just go.
That's the season premiere of SmackDown on USA, right? Everybody, make sure you watch. I love that USA has all its shows. NXT, Raw, SmackDown. It's going to be a great month. And then they split up the band. That's going to be horrible. I love it because I just got to turn on one app. You know?
Yeah, for now.
One app, and it stays on USA, not Sci-Fi, not something else. It's great.
Yeah, for a little bit. And then in a few weeks, NXT is going to be on the CW, just like NWA.
That's right. Guys, you're watching Unpopular Review. We are reviewing the NXT show for September 10th, 2024. I'm Big Daddy Cool, and this is Sabrina Estella. And usually your regular host, Bad Guy Jack, is actually at NXT tonight and having a good old time, so I'm filling in. I'm just a main roster WWE mark, and Sabrina here is teaching me about all the ways.
You're having your Raw moment. You're like a main roster star that would normally be on Raw and came down to help an NXT person. So sweet.
That's right, but just don't compare me to Ridge Holland, because
why would I? I don't like Ridge Holland. I can't stand him, and I told everybody here that you couldn't trust them for a second being with Chase U, and I was right.
Thank you. You're absolutely right. Guys, we're going to hit this intro, and then we're going to come back and review some of your comments. Drop your thoughts on tonight's NXT episode. What'd you like? What you didn't like? Who's your favorite wrestlers? All that stuff. We'll talk about it on the other side of this intro. Unpopular Review, NXT Review Show. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Unpopular Review Show, NXT Review special episode, whatever. We come here live after every major wrestling show. NXT. Sabrina's here, usually with the great Grand Slam Poobah, Bad Guy, Mad Guy Jack. I feel like he's always like yelling.
He does get a little loud.
If I'm covering for him, should I be yelling?
You don't have to. You just be you.
Just be you. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Guys, I want to catch up
on whoever you please, and I will either agree or disagree. And hopefully, you don't pull a Christopher Harris and look at me like I'm a mad woman.
Oh no!
Which he has to deal with, considering he asked me to be on Unpopular Review 3 years ago.
Much respect. Guys, if you're watching and haven't hit that like button on YouTube, please make sure you like and subscribe. If you're new here, please subscribe. We love wrestling. We like talking about wrestling. We like creating wrestling content. So please join and like and subscribe and all that. And then wake up your Aunt Ethel and tell her if she likes wrestling to subscribe to. Let's catch up on some of these comments. We got George Lewis. What's up, George? Been a minute. He says, what's up, everybody? He says, NXT was pretty solid tonight. I like it. Charmaine saying, what's up? What's up, Charmaine? Good to see you again. Brandon Stevens, blonde girl, Mary Brandon Stevens. I don't know what that's all about. This is Brandon.
Oh, that's someone who comments on some of my YouTube videos saying for random wrestlers to marry him.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right. Well, good for him. Hassan is here. Hey there, guys. What's going on, Hassan? Good to see you. Said, Wrestling Doll, I'm doing the Victory Road preview tomorrow afternoon.
Ooh, fun.
That is. Jeffrey, what's up, Jeff? Fraxium and Fraxium. Is that a thing? Is that what they call Nathan?
Well, that's a thing that he does. So
yeah, Fraxium.
It'd be an interesting tag name for them.
Yeah, good. Let's see here. What else? What other comments should I hit up? Chris says Sabrina, aka Wrestling Doll, is looking gorgeous tonight. Look at that. See, getting all kinds of compliments.
Well, he usually does give compliments to my hair when it is curled up because of how humid it is down here. So I had straightened it out because I went to a show this weekend. So
he's hitting you up twice. Wow, look at that. He's got the, as my kids would say, he got the riz. Good job, Chris. All right, guys, we're gonna jump into the next match.
Which was Giulia versus Chelsea Green.
Now,
the only way you introduce her now since Samantha Irving started it.
You're absolutely right, and that's the way she should be introduced.
And shout out to Alicia Taylor for trying, but still putting her own spin on it.
Yes, shout out to her. She's the ring announcer for NXT, right?
Well, I guess she is now, since she and Mike Rome were traded, and she was on SmackDown for a bit, and he was down here in NXT. I guess they traded them back without telling us because she's been on NXT for a couple weeks now.
There you go. So Giulia debuts last week, right? Giulia is this big, she's
a big deal over in Japan. She's been wrestling over there since she was in her teens. She's 30 now.
That's right.
And
right. I looked up my notes. I did my research. She's been wrestling since she was 13. Is that right?
Yep, 13, and she's 30 now, so 17 years, most of her life.
Totally made that up. I don't even know if that's accurate.
Well, I can always double check. So, that's what I do. I fact check around here when we need to.
Have you seen any Giulia matches before tonight?
I mean, I hadn't. It'd been on my watch list for a minute to watch some of her stuff, but I hadn't really watched it too much yet. But I definitely would like to watch more Japanese wrestling as well, because I did watch a video a while back with a friend of mine, and I'd see some of the stuff that was happening, and I was just like, why don't we do some of that over here in America? We weak compared to them.
I have not seen any much of Giulia, and last week, was the first kind of impression that I got, right? The first impression of Giulia, and I hear everybody was talking, all this smack about Giulia, how she's amazing, and we got people like Jeff saying Giulia and Chelsea got great chemistry. We got Chris saying
people dog on Chelsea. People dog on Chelsea just because now what she does is comedy and be funny, kind of like a female R-Truth, so to speak. But people forget she can go in the ring. I mean, I bring it up every time. She went up against Penta in Lucha Underground.
That's right.
If you can go with someone like that, if you can wrestle men and go at it like that, that's talent.
That is
and
talent.
Don't forget just because she's funny.
Absolutely. Giulia is the next NXT Women's Champion, says Chris. She very well might be. But last week, I felt like her debut was underwhelming. She comes out, there's not really like, yeah, she gets a big entrance, like a big Titantron thing, but she came like wearing like, I don't know, like just basic stuff. Like I felt like, we mentioned
I
clothes
feel like they were
earlier.
dressing her up a little bit like I said before, how they would dress like Asuka, Kyrie, Io a bit now. Like they dressed them a little bit more on the eccentric side, so to speak, and most of the American ones get a little bit more of a chill, normal style based on their character, so to speak. But I think she looked fine. I think she had a bigger pop on No Mercy because we'd been waiting for a minute, like when she was going to come and make a debut and stare Roxanne down in the face before she takes that belt away from her so that Roxanne can go to the main roster.
How do you feel like as an NXT fan that like watches every week, right? How do you feel about this like new chick from New Japan? And I get it. She's a big deal. She was a Stardom World Champion for quite some time.
Since 2017, so 7 years.
Why are you cool with the fact that she just walks in the door and she gets a main title shot and has a very good chance of beating Roxanne Perez? Does that bother you?
They did the same thing with Ethan Page. If I were to have a problem with her doing it and not have a problem with Ethan Page, it would be a very big double standard thing because that she's a woman, she's coming in getting a title shot right away versus Ethan Page coming in, he got a title shot right away. It would be like a very hypocritical double standard thing for me to say, especially since I'm someone who's been a big advocate of women's wrestling since I started watching. I started watching WWE because of women's wrestling. I started watching AEW because of women's wrestling. Same thing with NWA. Same thing with Impact. Every company I've watched because of women's wrestling. I didn't start getting into watching the men's wrestling and WWE till maybe a few months after I started watching WWE, which was after WrestleMania 37.
Got it. Okay. Well, listen, hey, we're glad that
I'm down for Giulia getting this title shot in a few weeks.
You're down for Giulia getting this title shot. All right. I feel like there's the women's scene in NXT is top notch, right? Like it is on point. You got. I
did say last week that I feel like the WWE has the best women's division right now.
Absolutely, without a doubt. I don't think you can even debate it, right? Because you look at the women in NXT and they're top notch. They're world class. You look at you add the ones that are in main roster. I mean, come on. Like, look,
I
said
WWE NXT followed by Impact, followed by NWA, and then AEW. Only because they don't really do much with their women's roster a lot, and they usually wind up repeating using the same people.
Right.
And then the rest of them get put in the back burner, which is a damn shame.
Or they just like call a name.
Smaller roster, but they use everybody.
Yeah. They for a long time, TNA was like the standard. And now ever since Triple H started running everything and HBK, I feel like they've definitely put a big spotlight on the women's wrestling. Todd here is watching us on YouTube and he says, I'm waiting for Vaquer. Stephanie Vaquer is on her way too. I'm excited to see her. I know I'm familiar with her wrestling. And so I'm excited to see her come to NXT as well. Guys, you're watching Unpopular Review. This is the NXT Review Show. If you're watching us on X, please make sure you make your way over to YouTube and you can jump into the chat. Any questions, any comments, and while you're there on YouTube, please make sure you like and subscribe. That definitely helps us win against the evil YouTube algorithm that is trying to hold all us down. We need to rise up together and and talk about wrestling and be over. Giulia wins this match. Chelsea Green, listen, you said it. She looks good. She can make other people look good. She's
one of those that can take losses and it doesn't hurt her as far as like her main roster run.
Absolutely.
She can lose and be fine.
Absolutely.
I mean, she looks it too, so.
What do we got next? We had Charlie Dempsey versus
against Javon Evans for the NXT Heritage Cup.
That's right. Now, what is
I just want to ask you.
Yeah.
I don't know how much NXT UK you've watched or anything like that, but in terms of the Heritage Cup, like how the rules for the matches, that it's 6 rounds, 3 minutes, 20-second intermission break, so to speak. And then you got to try to win via pinfall or submission. How do you feel about the way that they do those kind of matches for that cup? Because it's British wrestling, so to speak.
I'm not here for any of that. I got too many things to listen. I'm I'm an old man. I'm well in my 40s. I got kids. I ain't got time.
You are not an old man.
Thank you. I appreciate that coming from you. I got a lot of things on my plate. I got kids that I gotta help them do homework. I ain't got time to remember all these fucking rules. This is wild. This is too many rules. What is it? You know what the Heritage Cup should be? It should be they break a kendo stick or a random weapon. They leave it in the middle of the ring, and then there's a race. You know how like when you were in gym in high school, and like there would be like you'd play dodgeball and you got to run to the middle and catch the ball, and whoever, like, they should do that. And then whoever beats the trash out of somebody with that object, that should be the Heritage Cup winner.
Honestly, I think that'd make it more entertaining for me because even I get bored watching the Heritage Cup. Actually, I don't feel like I get bored. I feel like it kind of like annoys me because the momentum gets interrupted after 2.5-3 minutes of them going back and forth, and then the timer stops. They have to take 20 seconds for a break, and then
timer. What?
Yeah, they put a timer in the corner of the screen.
What am I watching? Chess?
Apparently.
Oh my God, Sabrina, I ain't got time for this. Ain't nobody got time. Listen, I love wrestling.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
But look at round five. If I wanted to watch this, I'd watch boxing. Enough with this nonsense. So Charlie Dempsey, he's the British guy?
Yes, that's William Regal's son.
Oh, okay. So this is just to put Charlie Dempsey over. Why don't they call him Charlie Regal? Like, I don't know.
Because when he came in, it was still a Vincent Kennedy McMahon ran company, and he had this rule of no putting any of the same names for the second, third generation stars. So like Ariana Grey, she's Santina Morella's daughter. They don't call her Ariana.
Is that who
Morella.
she is?
Yes.
Oh my God! Wow. They should give her like a thick Italian accent.
They didn't. She just acts like she's in a Miss University pageant every day.
I like her. I always like, who's she? She looks familiar. Now I know why. They should give her like a sock puppet with a. They don't
do that. She doesn't do funny like that. She does more pretty.
No? So this is why we need Vince back, so that way he could have her be like, "It happened. It worked with your dad."
Well, her dad is the general manager in TNA right now. So.
Is that where Santino is? Shit.
Yes.
You're teaching me so much tonight. Look at this. I'm learning so much from you tonight.
I tend to do that with Ron sometimes when we talk about stuff and I look facts up just to reassure and make sure that we get everything correct.
Yep. Very good. Charlie Dempsey wins the match after how many rounds? 20 rounds? Who got time for 20 rounds?
They do 6 rounds, but if you win more than the other, then you win. After 5 rounds, it was over. More so because Charlie Dempsey is in a faction called the No Quarter Catch Crew, originally started by Drew Gulak before he got let go after some allegations with Ronda Rousey. And it's composed of him, Miles Bourne, the guy with the short blonde hair, Ren Sinclair, the girl in the corner whose gear looked exactly like Javon Evans, which I found funny. And then the returning Tavion Heights, who came in at the end and attacked Javon and threw it back in the ring so Dempsey could pin him and keep the cup.
So what is he? So the cup is like a title?
It's a giant trophy that they carry with everybody's names that have won it. So it's a title, so to speak. It's the only thing of NXT UK that isn't dead since they stopped doing that over there.
They need to get rid of this once they get to CW. Ain't nobody got time for this.
I mean, they kind of do that with TNA. They have like a TV championship thing where they have matches for 6 minutes.
6 minutes?
And 5 seconds.
Oh my God. Come on now. We ain't got time for this.
Well, apparently
all right.
they do.
What else we got?
We had TNA for people that don't know.
What do we have doing here? We had Wendy Chu and Rosemary. Listen, I don't know if you've ever seen me do a review show before, you know I can't stand this supernatural bullshit. Wendy Chu was great when she was like wrestling Snorlax, and now she's like possessed. It's fucking awful. Awful. I hate it. Rosemary and Wendy Chu do something with dolls in the back. Is that right?
Well, yeah, because one of the girls that they're going up against, Tatum Paxley, kind of got a little weird after kind of like doing like a whole Trish Mickey thing when Mickey came in and was like super obsessed with Trish. They had Lyra become super obsessed with Lyra Valkyria. She then left, and so she kind of went a little bonkers, started making dolls to make friends since she couldn't be friends with anybody else. And then Lyra came back to help her because she couldn't stand seeing her get her ass beat anymore.
So she ditched her.
For a brief moment, yeah, because
she said,
Tatum
"You
didn't have Lyra,
let
Lyra have any more friends, so to speak."
Oh, that's sad. When do you think Tatum Paxley is going to find happiness?
I don't know. When she can learn to accept the help from other people besides Lyra and make friends that way too, then I think she'll be a little happier and a little less making dolls to make friends.
Got it. Jeffrey wants to jump in here. I got used to Rosemary and TNA acting weird, so I'm good on her. Yeah, no, thank you. I don't like the Wyatt Six. I don't like none of this. None of this supernatural nonsense is too much for me. Next up, actually, before we get to Obafemi, because Obafemi, listen, y'all want to see some big meaty men slapping meats? That was this next match. Definitely.
Well, before that, we had a quick little vignette from NXT Anonymous showing Tony D paying somebody to go into the ring and fight Obafemi.
That's right.
That was why Oba was having that match in the first place. So he comes out looking big and tough and all that. And we've had discussions here, people wondering if Oba's accent is even real, kind of like a whole Kofi Kingston where he dropped the Jamaican accent out of nowhere type thing.
Hey, Logan. Yeah.
But the man is Nigerian. He was born in Nigeria, born and raised. He did come to the U.S. to wrestle and all that stuff. So I highly believe that the accent is real. It might be a little exaggerated, but I think it's real.
Yeah. Well, listen, this dude is gigantic. This
okay, now I get it. Now this makes sense. Sorry to interrupt, but now I understand why they're having Rosemary work with Wendy Chu, so to speak, since her current partner, in TNA, Jessica Havoc, was attacked by the woman formerly known as Dana Brooke on TNA. So now she's worked. They brought her into NXT to have a couple matches and then work with Wendy Chu for a bit. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I hope it helps Wendy Chu become something, because I feel like Wendy Chu hasn't done anything since being wrestling Snorlax.
I saw the Titantron come up, and I saw the HS, and I do watch Impact, but I watch more the women's side of Impact and occasionally some of the guy wrestlers that I like over there, so I'm not on track of everybody. So I saw that, I was like, who is that? And then I saw it come out, and I was like, holy shit, it's Hammerstone. I was a little sad it was a Moose, but hey, it's another big dude.
I thought it was going to be Omos, but I'm glad that it wasn't. Yeah. And Hammerstone was a pleasant surprise. We're going to get into this match on the other side of this commercial. Obafemi, the NXT North American champion, versus Hammerstone for the title, but right after this short commercial break. Oh, that's just me falling asleep talking about AEW.
I was about to say, isn't that from your AEW days? Why would you do that to us?
That's right. I'm sorry. Here, hold on. There.
Welcome to the SmackDown Penitentiary.
He just looks like he means business. It's not even like like that look is like a calm. It's like a calm before the storm, but he doesn't look that angry. Like I've seen him angrier in matches. It just looks like, you don't know, I'm really about to fuck you up. Like that's the way he looks to me.
The one who I would announce as the tribal chief because Roman Reigns was his #1 favorite wrestler. Now it's Solo Sikoa because Solo calls himself the tribal chief, even though he's trying to be a filler version. And he's a Timu version. And now he's turning his back on him just because now Roman's not no heel. Roman's a babyface. And he's getting the babyface love and push that they wanted 4 or 5 years ago.
More like 10 years ago.
Yeah, you're right, 10 years ago. But still, he's turning his back. Can someone go outside and check to see if the sky is falling or if hell is frozen over?
I should have found the video that had the actual subtitles of the conversations that they were having. And Solo was like, "You're not the man anymore. You go away." And then Roman is looking at him, and he throws the one up. This shot, he's telling you, "I'm only going to tell you one time." We just need to hear Roman Reigns on the microphone.
Like I said, it was nice to see Roman clean house. I enjoyed watching him clean house on the twins who couldn't get themselves together over here, first of all. Still couldn't get themselves together. And the only reason that Timu bloodline has been able to get themselves together, Tama Tonga was that for a bit, and then they brought in Tonga low, and then it started looking like a joke. And then Jacob Fatu came in the picture with everybody anticipating that for ages now.
But there you have it. The SmackDown Penitentiary. That's a SmackDown review show happening every Saturday.
A lovely shout out to Vic and Zia Silent, who graciously inform us of what has happened the night prior on Saturdays. And Zia is occasionally trying to swoop me up from here to join the SmackDown Penitentiary because they need a female warden. Y'all will get one. It just won't be me because I do enjoy helping on SmackDown occasionally and putting up comments here and there, but NXT's my show.
I like that Vic was on the bus. Do you think that was the NXT bus?
No.
No?
That was just Vic taking care of business and doing some stuff outside.
I don't
know what he was doing either.
Yeah, Vic just does stuff. He goes out there. He's just doing Vic things. He's doing his city stuff. He's on a bus. He'll do a review show on a bus. That he gives 0 Fs. Guys, you're watching Unpopular Review. This is the NXT review show, September 10th, 2024. I'm Big Daddy Cool. This is Sabrina Estella. She is also known as the Wrestling Doll. You can catch her on the independent wrestling scene down in...
Yes, and as you can see, I'm wearing something that I recently purchased at the last show I went to of a faction that I became a fan of over the past couple of years, known as the Miami Boys. So a lovely shout out to them and me putting on their shirts. I occasionally wear merch from shows that I've been to.
There you go. See, that's how I know you're a fan and that people are over, because when people buy shirts, that means that the act is over.
And Dice would come in any second and be like, that doesn't matter. I don't have any shirts, but Sting's still my number one favorite, which is what he said before.
There you
Meanwhile, I have about a trunk and some of wrestling shirts that I have. So,
see, there you go. You can't be a real fan if you don't have any other wrestling.
Well, half of that stuff was also given to me for free, so I'm fine with that.
Listen, it doesn't matter. You still have it. It's not like you lit it, you used it to start a fire or anything.
No, actual merch.
Obafemi walks out to this ring and he wants to know who he is fighting, and it happens to be TNA's former NWA World Champion Alexander Hammerstone. This dude is huge, Hammerstone, but Obafemi, good God, is he bigger. When you see him in the silhouette, like he looks like that Street Fighter guy, like in silhouette, like he looks like he's out of Street Fighter, like just a cartoon anime brolic guy that will beat the living trash out of you. And man, this match, while not very technical wrestling,
a meat match. It was meat slap and meat kind of match with the 6'4" Alexander Hammerstone versus the 6'6" Obafemi, which I had a feeling it was going to be a lot of meat slap and meat type match kind of shindig.
Right.
And Obafemi stayed strong, and it wasn't a match for the title, but he stayed strong and showed Tony D that he is nobody to be messed with.
Right. And this,
like he's going to get a rematch and might give him a bigger run for his money than he did the last time they fought on a pay-per-view.
Yeah. I guess this Tony D guy is, his rival, Obafemi's rival. He's a
so to speak now, because he's trying to go after that title since he lost the Heritage Cup to Charlie Dempsey.
Got it. So listen, this match, you got my attention, especially I'm a main roster mark. 2 big dudes that look like they should be on the main roster.
Obafemi will definitely be in the main roster, probably within like maybe a year and a half or 2 years, give or take, I say.
I don't know, man. I think he's ready now, Sabrina. This guy looks good. He's jacked. What did they say? He won this title?
Who's going to take that back from him?
28
defenses. Undefeated.
I don't know, man. I feel like what about Pete Wentz? What about him? Can he take it from Obafemi?
Zachary Wentz is not fighting him for that belt. He's too busy trying to fight his former brother in Wesley.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, this match was great. It was 2 big guys doing big things. Obafemi looked good. He manhandled this man, Alexander Hammerstone. I didn't know that Hammerstone could get manhandled the way he got done in this match.
You put him with somebody that's a couple inches taller than him by height, then anything is possible.
Right. I mean, good God, this was great. So yeah, Obafemi looking strong. Definitely look out for him on the main roster within the next couple of months, if not probably within the next year. This is in my notes. I wrote down that you need to school me here, and this is all apropos because Chase U came out. This is the next segment on tonight's NXT. Ridge Holland.
I'm very happy to watch in person because he does not like Chase U in the slightest. He dislikes Chase U as much as he dislikes Rey Mysterio.
Okay. Ridge Holland. I don't like Ridge Holland.
No, I don't either. I find him about as entertaining as watching paint dry. I say it every day.
Thank you. I don't understand how he's still a thing, but I guess he's a thing. And he was fighting Duke Hudson.
He wrestles like he's trying to destroy you, which he did destroy a career or two. He's about as entertaining on a promo as about listening to a presidential debate for two candidates that nobody can stand.
Oh, that's tonight.
He absolutely bores me. He's about as boring as Gallus.
Oh, I hate Gallus. Oh my God. I don't know what I hate worse. Not supernatural wrestling gimmicks or backwoods guys. I know Gallus is like supposed to be European, right? But
they're from NXT UK.
I know. They just give me like a backwoods vibe, a country vibe. I know they're not country, but the beards give me that vibe. Like they look like, who's got a big beard in country? Chris Stapleton? I can't stand it. I can't deal with it. Just no Gallus. Just do away with that.
Listen, I always say that Gallus should just stay in the back for catering or just be thrown out of the company because they're that boring and not entertaining. But because of history that they have with a couple people in the wrestling business, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Now, Ridge Holland, he used to be in Chase U?
He went into Chase U because he felt like he didn't belong anywhere. Because there was at one point, he said he was going to retire from wrestling after injuring people and ending their careers. He couldn't retire for 72 hours. He started wrestling. He was messing up. He was about to leave. He almost got influenced by Sean Spears. And then he decided to go join Chase U to feel like he belonged. And then he did so much work for them, getting them a title shot and blah, 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 blah. And then he felt overlooked. And so he decided to bring them down after the last pay-per-view where they didn't get the belts back.
So what is his relationship with Thea Hale? Like, why is Thea Hale, like, what? I heard the announcers talking about, like, Thea Hale is looked up to him. He helped Thea Hale. What's that story?
Because he helped her a little bit. He encouraged her and made her feel like someone that she could, like, talk to and, like, depend on and help and stuff like that. And so when he obliterated Andre Chase in the last pay-per-view and put him on a stretcher the same way he did to Duke tonight, she was upset. Literally, the only other person left is Riley Osborne, the one that he threw at the barricade that got taken by the referee.
Okay, so what are we building towards here, Sabrina? Are we gonna see Thea Hale turn?
The Chase U one by one. If she turns, then so be it. I don't know.
They
tried to turn her once with JC Jane. It didn't last long.
You think they're going to turn, and this goes for the chat too. You can answer this question too. You think Thea Hale's going to turn and they're going to pair up Ridge Holland and Thea Hale? Because I feel like Ridge Holland needs somebody. Maybe Thea Hale might be that person to be interesting. Chris says, I'm glad Gallus wasn't on NXT tonight. You and me both, brother. Todd says she reminds him of his daughter or something. Is that what it is? It's creepy.
But what a lovely way to care for your daughter than destroying her friends.
Thea Hale's going to be with Duke, I believe.
So Jeffrey thinks that Duke is going to turn his back on a Chase U. I thought that for the longest time a while back.
I'm an old school WWE guy. Like when Duke Hudson started talking, I was like, oh my God, this dude's accent is too thick. I can't hear. I don't understand one word he's just saying. He's like, I might.
Oh, he's Australian. What do you expect?
Whatever. Like, listen, I get enough. Grayson Waller should just check that box, and then that's it. No, we don't need anybody else. And Rhea. That's it. We got two. Everybody gets one. One for the men, one for the women. That's it. And be done with it. Can we talk about Liv Morgan? No, that's not this show.
No.
Okay. All right.
Unless you came on to NXT, we don't talk about that too much.
Can we talk about the biggest rising star in NXT, and that's Lola Vice?
We can talk about that, but I do want to bring up that there is that Wesley did come in at some point to interrupt Booker T and Vic while they were on commentary, grabbed big headphones and say that he is the reason why Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz were not able to compete tonight because he basically destroyed them, and that they brought those on themselves and blah, 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 and that he wants to take Zach in a street fight. Now we can talk about Lola.
Yeah, I still don't believe that Wesley did this all by himself. I think he had help.
He probably did, and that wouldn't surprise me.
And I'm pretty sure it was the Street Profits that helped him.
No.
But come on, they benefited. They benefited.
They're getting that benefit because they're not being used much in the main roster except being the punching bags of the bloodline, which is exactly what happened tonight.
They got to put over Unico or Camacho, whichever one it is. I don't know.
They don't need to put over Tongaloa in the slightest for anything other than being known as Botchaloa, according to everybody in our chat.
Chris says, I don't care if Thea Hale turns heel and joins Ridge Holland. He doesn't care about it. He doesn't care. Wesley versus Zach Wentz next week. I had to think about it. I was going to call him Pete again. In a street fight. Who wins in a street fight? Wesley or Zachary Wentz?
Well, let's see. They had a match. Wesley won, Zachary won, so it's tied. So we'll just see what happens, since in a street fight, it's no disqualification, so anything can happen. So Trey Miguel is definitely going to get himself involved and help, but I honestly don't know who would win that one.
Who wins in a street fight? Pete Wentz or Zachary Wentz?
Zachary Wentz could destroy Pete Wentz if he wanted to.
Okay. I mean, I don't know.
But there was a moment in the locker room. The girls are all excited to see who's going to come out and challenge Jordan Grace for the TNA Knockouts Championship.
That's right.
Fatal Attraction comes in, and they start going like, oh my God, you guys are so excited. That's so cute. And then Lola tries to like gaslight her into accepting the challenge, since like y'all
Like,
keep
so
saying that
smart.
like we're lame and all that, and you want Kehlani's belt so bad. Well, why don't you go out and try to fight someone else who has an open challenge tonight, which doesn't happen. Instead, we get Sol Ruka coming in, and she goes out to fight against Jordan Grace, which I was waiting for shenanigans to ensue. I was waiting for somebody to come out and attack her, which didn't happen. And they had a good match, and some people like Dave Meltzer overlook Sol Ruka because she does like flips and stuff, and she's a high flyer and things like that. Even complain.
I thought he liked flippy stuff.
Her match with Kehlani, but she can put on a good match, and I think she is a great contender for the NXT Women's North American Championship.
Sol Ruka is really, really good. I like Sol Ruka. I like her look. I like her in-ring ability. She's definitely very athletic. Speaking of Sol Ruka, she was the main event of tonight's NXT show. She fought Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace had an open challenge for the TNA Knockouts Championship.
Put out an open challenge last week.
That's right. And so that was building up all this week because all the girls in the back were like, who's gonna challenge? Who's gonna challenge? Sol Ruka steps up, and they have a pretty good match. Your thoughts on this match?
I enjoyed the match. I was very entertained by it. I was looking forward to seeing how it was going to end, and then we get Wendy Chu and Rosemary attacking Jordan Grace, which I don't understand too much why, because as far as I know, Jordan Grace's biggest beef right now is with Ash by Elegance, formerly known as Dana Brooke. So unless somebody can explain if Rosemary's trying to go after the TNA Knockouts Championship belt next, I don't know what's going on. Because I pay attention to some stuff in TNA here and there, but I haven't been paying attention too much with what was happening with Jordan Grace, because they just kept repeating the stuff with her and Ash by Elegance over and over again. So it's just like, I can't.
I think they're building up they're setting the blocks up to have Jordan Grace drop this belt to Ash by Elegance, formerly known as Dana Brooke. And I think Jordan Grace is WWE bound.
Well, I mean, she's probably going to sign that contract once her TNA contract is up. So I definitely believe that. And I believe that the other person that would do that once their TNA contract is up, whenever that may be, will be somebody that you can't stand.
Oh, who's that?
Well, I'd say his name, but he'd appear.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No. Oh, my God.
Why do you think I
can't
didn't say
stand
his
that
name?
guy.
Why do you think I didn't say his name?
Oh, I can't
Why do
stand
you
that
think I said
man.
it like that?
That man is
Because that's
just
how
an
I
entity.
know that you know.
Everybody, like, if you go to any wrestling chat room and they talk about this guy, oh
The
my God.
entrance is fun. It's entertaining.
What's this bozo's
He-
name? Now I'm forgetting his
He's
name.
he's a good wrestler, to say the least. I'm not going to say he's the greatest of all time, but he's a decent wrestler.
He's a
If you want me to say it, I'll say it, and I'll say it the
He's
same
like-
way that he
yeah.
says in his intro song.
say his name. What's his name?
I believe in
Oh,
Joe,
Joe
Hendry.
Hendry. God damn it. This bozo, like, and the fans are the worst because they love the song. They love Joe Hendry's song.
It's catchy.
I get it. It's catchy.
And it's
So,
infectious, and it gets stuck in your head, which is exactly why he did it.
so is
He was smart
COVID, but that COVID ain't over, like Joe Hendry. It had its year in 2020, but now it's definitely buried. Joe Hendry, these fans that love this Joe Hendry song, they can recite every word to the Joe Hendry song. You know what they can't tell you? Joe Hendry's finishing move. What's his finishing move's name? Nobody knows.
I mean,
Nobody knows.
I don't remember it either, but I
Thank
can't
you.
just
Thank you.
double check.
That's it. What was the Undertaker's last move? His final move?
Isn't it the Tombstone? Pile
Tombstone.
driver.
There you go. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Stunner. Everybody remembers those. The Rock, Rock Bottom. Everybody remembers that. Now, am I comparing Joe Hendry to legends? Absolutely. But there's guys on the main roster that you can recite his finishing move, their finishing move. You can recite the setup move. What do they call it in WWE 2K? Like a signature move? You can recite that. Not Joe Hendry.
I believe so.
Joe Hendry
But
choke slam. I
the
think.
one that he uses more so now, the elevated one-arm spine buster, it's called the standing ovation.
You know what? I've had this conversation with Chris like 4 or 5 times, and I've Googled it myself. I still can't remember that. And guess what? The next time I co-host NXT,
You're
we're
still
gonna
not
have
going
a test. We're gonna have a test, and I guarantee you, I'm still not gonna remember that back.
I just
bad
said
boy.
that, so I already knew.
Jordan Grace beats Sol Ruka. She holds
Well,
on.
I mean, she probably would have beaten Soruka, but like I said, Wendy Chu
Correct.
and
Hold the scalp.
Rosemary came in, and Wendy Chu put Jordan to sleep.
You're absolutely right. So, sorry. I thought this was the main event, but it was not the main event. The main
No,
event
because we had
was
that street fight with Pete Dunne and Zach and Trick Williams.
Now, before we get into this, Trick Williams cut probably what is by far the greatest wrestling promo of 2024 in the form of a rap song. Did you hear this rap song that he cut
Yes.
on Pete Dunne?
They played it about a week or so ago.
Amazing work. Oh, the OTC, the original tribal chief, Roman Reigns, has joined us. Thank you, Roman, for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, Roman. I love this rap video. I love the song. It's so catchy. You a butch. You a butch. You a butch. Can't see me, Petey. You can't see me, Petey.
Yes, it's a very entertaining song. See, you can do stuff with music and be popular with it.
Absolutely. But
I'm just going to say a few things real quick with a few segments, and then we can fully talk more about the main event. So Giulia's with Ava Rain, with Sho Funaki acting as translator, talking about how everything's going well, good debut, etc., etc. Roxanne comes in and complains about how she's getting everything that she wants and that she doesn't want to give her the title shot and that she's not going to take over the women's division. And Giulia says, "You're just scared. So I understand why you don't want to fight." But Ava tells her to leave and that you're going to fight her in a few weeks on the first episode on the CW, so deal with it. Brooks Jensen comes in to Dion Lennox asking what he means by gaslighting, and he's about to tell him and explain, but then Sean Spears comes in and he tells him, and then Sean Spears again plays mind games to make sure that Brooks Jensen stays by his side and tells him that I worry that you're letting other people get in your head and mess with how you're thinking, which is exactly what he's doing. So gaslighting. And then after all that, Eddie Thorpe walks in with some of the girls, some of his friends that are in there. And then Ashanti the Adonis comes in, calls him a hypocrite, being like, How are you doing this? Are you just being a hypocrite? I see through that act and all that stuff, and it's building up just towards the match. And like I said last week, and I called out quite a few people that I know, not by name, but just some, because how Ashanti is acting is fairly accurate of how some of the wrestlers in the independent scene can be, because they are thirsty as hell. Yes, I said it. Yes, I called y'all out, and I don't care. And I would know because some of y'all have flirted with me.
That's right. We got people in the chat trying to flirt with you, so it happens.
Not just in this chat. I mean, in real life too, and in my social medias.
That too. Trick Williams is amazing, man. I love Trick Williams. I hope he keeps this. I hope he cuts raps more often, because I really need that in my wrestling life. I feel like that's what's missing in the main roster and in all of WWE and wrestling. Joe Hendry's cool, but can he rap? Nope.
Not to my knowledge.
So you got Trick Williams. He wins the match. He's the new number one contender.
I mean, yeah, he did win. They definitely went through hell and back. I mean, for crying out loud, they pulled back the padding and did a DDT on it, which we hadn't seen on NXT since Tommaso Ciampa and Braun Breaker had one of their last matches before Tommaso went up to the main roster. And that was a couple years back. And it was going really well. They had a moment where they jumped up from the very top and fell into a table, which Roxanne and Cora did have in their street fight. Theirs didn't look as good because they were being careful, making sure nobody got hurt. But them two trusted each other enough that they went through it, and it looked very believable. And Ethan Page tries to interfere and make sure that Trick Williams doesn't win. When you do that, you're basically ensuring that the person you don't want to win is going to win. And he literally stood up and flipped your ass over, and Pete Dunne still couldn't get up. And now you got to fight him in Chicago on October 1st.
That's right, October 1st. NXT on the
Williams
CW.
might officially whoop that ego, and the NXT era, the era of ego, will be dead.
That needs to be like the next rap song that Trick Williams cuts.
I mean, he probably will do that. He'll probably have a whoop that ego song.
Whoop that ego. Whoop. No, it doesn't have.
I mean, did you hear the people? They were chanting "Whoop that Butch."
Oh my God, for real, yo! I can't stand Butch. He was so much better as Butch, but Pete Dunne is just trash. I can't stand that guy. And then the other guy, what's his partner's name? The one that wrestles in the underwear and the Timberlands. What's the other guy? He's from Europe too. God, I can't stand him.
He don't got no partner now. He turned his back on Sheamus, and you know that.
No, it wasn't Sheamus. Sheamus, yeah, but I like Sheamus came out last night and with his suit. This guy. I like that Sheamus comes out to hand ass whippings in like a dress shirt and a tie, but he also still looks kind of like Irish because he's running around with a shillelagh and he's just like wants to beat up this midget. Like, I love it. Guys, you're watching Unpopular Review. This is the NXT Review Show. Thanks for tuning in. If you are joining us on X, I see you guys. Come join us on YouTube. Jump in the comments. Leave those like and subscribes. And then you will also know when we talk about other wrestling stuff. Here at Unpopular Review, we love talking about wrestling.
And we do have a bit of something for everybody. So
That's
I'm
right.
going to let everybody know real quickly.
There you go.
So Mondays at 6 p.m. you have the Mike Knox Show for the intelligent wrestling fan. An hour after that, Monday Night Raw reviews on Tuesdays with EC and Freckle Sensei. NXT Tuesdays with myself and BadGuy Jack. AEW Dynamite reviews on Wednesdays with Dan the Man, Cactus Katie, and Venomous Vinny. Top 5s and our predictions on Thursdays, depending whenever we get an idea for it or if anybody's available for it. And then Friday Night SmackDown reviews on Saturdays at 12 or noon in the SmackDown Penitentiary with the Z is Silent and Vic to talk about all things NXT and to watch them occasionally be thirsty about women's wrestlers for a good 5 minutes straight.
That's right. If you would like your wrestling thirst to be supported, make sure you watch that show. Guys, that's Unpopular Review all over.
Of anything that you're drinking.
There you
Make
go.
sure you drink responsibly.
Drink responsibly. Or don't, and then, make an ass out of yourself.
I mean, we already had that in AEW. They're called the Ass Boys.
Oh, my God, that AEW show. You know what I loved? Let's talk about 3 things that you loved about this NXT episode tonight, Sabrina. What did you like?
Well, I liked watching the Giulia versus Chelsea match.
Okay.
I also enjoyed the Jordan versus Soruka match. As everybody knows, I do love women's wrestling, so those two were at the top.
Yep.
And I did enjoy the tag match in the beginning up until the Bloodline decided to make an ass of themselves and come in and destroy everybody because, again, they had nothing better to do because their leader's too busy.
Mm-hmm. I will say that I loved the women's matches too. I love Chelsea Green. I mean, Giulia seems like she's a little stale. I don't know. She ain't got that it factor. I haven't seen it yet, but maybe we will. I don't know. The jury's still out on her.
We just need to make a build. So
I like Trick Williams and Obafemi. They look like stars. And you know what I like the most out of this NXT episode is that I didn't see nobody take a syringe to the mouth. I didn't see sloppy wrestling. I saw good wrestling.
Anybody taking any splits on no thumbtacks?
I didn't see anybody taking splits to their privates on thumbtacks. I loved it. This is great. NXT, if you really like wrestling, I'm going to talk to y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all real serious right now. If you really like wrestling, like really, really like it, like you about that life, you watch NXT. This is true. If you like sloppy, trashy wrestling, we got a review show for you tomorrow night after AEW. Come see Dan the Man.
Shout out to Dan the Man and Venomous Vinny from the AEW review show going to NXT tonight to watch it.
That's right. They love wrestling so much that they went to go see NXT. Guys, that's been the Unpopular Review NXT review show. Thank you for all of you joining us on this epic night. Sabrina will be back here next Tuesday night to review more NXT. Please make sure you like and subscribe if you like NXT, and catch her here every Tuesday after NXT. Catch her vibes, catch her give you the 411. Like she taught me. I learned so much from her. I don't watch NXT, but I'm going to start watching it more and more, especially now that these main roster people are showing up on October 1st. Very excited. Again, if you haven't done so already, like and subscribe. Love wrestling. You love wrestling. It's only logical that you just subscribe. Come on now.
And speaking of subscribing, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Unofficial Camera Woman, where I go throughout Central Florida and go to indie wrestling shows and put up videos of those matches that I've gone to see. I will be putting up some videos in a few days, and there will be a show from the same place I went to this weekend in November, which will have a certain former WWE superstar be a special enforcer in the match. The one formerly known as Dude Love, the one formerly known as Mankind, the one and only Nick Foley will be in Seminole, Florida.
That's amazing. Look at that. Mick Foley. He's a draw. I remember watching Mick Foley. Guys, that's it. That's the show tonight. Thanks for tuning in. I want to appreciate everybody in the chat. Jeffrey, Chris, the Warman. Warman was here. Did you know that Warman was here?
Yes, I did know that Warman was here. And Jeffrey had mentioned before how we gonna look past Funaki by Giulia. Listen, they weren't focusing too much on Funaki. They were focusing on Giulia and Roxanne. That was the only reason why we looked past that.
Yeah. Yep. Guys, much appreciated all your comments as usual. And thank you so much, everybody. Have a splendid night. Thank you for watching Unpopular Review. And until next time, take it easy, guys. Wow, that happened really quick. What button am I supposed to press? There we go.